Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. We're gonna take a look at the match between Tottenham Hotspurs against Olympiacos. So this is a quite insightful game in terms of tactics from both managers. Tottenham greeted Olympiacos in their home stadium in a Champions League group stage. Here are the lineups for both teams. Tottenham featured their familiar formation since Mourinho took charge with the 4-2-3-1 shaped. Olympiacos spotted their game with a 4-3-3, quite an interesting formation, but you will see this proved to be a really effective tactics in terms of defense. Olympiacos did not hide their intention of earning at least 1 point out of this match with their 4-3-3 lineup, which is quite unusual as their more familiar formation would be 4-2-3-1 and 4-4-2. Pedro Martin separated his team into 3 lines of defense guarding the center of the field, allowing Tottenham CBs to advance with less pressure. But the plan is to keep the 3 forwards narrow and 3 midfielders sitting close to the first line, which crowded the middle of the pitch. Olympiacos forward dropped back to the central circle, allowing Tottenham CBs to carry the ball up the field, but they man-marked both wings and Dyer. Tottenham was quite dreadful in the first half, as they persisted on breaking through the central of the middle third, where Olympiacos built a compact unit. Cannot access their pivots, Sanchez and Alderweireld often try to make passes straight to Dele Alli, whose task is to link the ball to Kane, Son or Moura. But notice how Olympiacos man tracking Dele Alli, which resulted in multiple turnovers that led to the dangerous counter-attacks and the first goal. The major change from Tottenham came at Dyer position. His work rate was abysmal in the first half. Mourinho wanted to open a route straight through the middle by having 2 midfielders, which were supposed to link up play to the offensive rank. But Dyer couldn't get away from Olympiacos players because of his physical morale, and often found himself with very limited passing lanes to his teammates. With Eriksen, Spurs had an attacking-minded player in the middle who could provide more creativity in the offensive phase. Wings played really deep between CBs, while Eriksen will look for chances to move into channels between Kane and Son, or Moura and Kane. While he's doing so, Moura and Ali often drifted back in the middle to collect ricocheting balls. Eriksen's ability to carry the ball and attack the outside channels were crucial to Tottenham's successful comeback. Mourinho utilized Son in a different way as opposed to Pochettino. He allowed Son to play as a pure winger rather than an inside forward. Looking at Son's heat map in Pochettino's days, we could see a stark difference. Son used to cut inside and attack the 6-yard box centrally. Son's movement in this match was quite vertical, running down the flank for through balls and often drop back to allow Ali to make run deep into the left flank. To create even more fluidity, Kane and Ali were consistent in switching places with each other, with Kane often dropped back to collect the balls, which in turn dragging Olympiacos CBs out of position to allow Son or Moura to attack with speed. Ali drifted left to drag Guilherme out so Kane could make run with less players surrounding him. The 15-minute break allowed Tottenham to rethink about their approach. In the second half, Tottenham switched back to their play as often seen in the Premier League, which is to advance from the left and look for switch passes to the right flank, where Augier with his pace and freedom of space to carry the ball to the offensive third. To create space for Augier, Moura drifted inside and attracted players to follow him, and to cover the space left behind by the fullback, Eriksen will run into Augier in normal position. Look at the overall heat map of 2 Olympiacos fullbacks. El Abdelawi could advance quite often as there was less pressure from Danny Rose, while Tsimikas was forced to stay back by Augier, and likewise, if you look at Tottenham Hotspur fullback's heat map, with Augier clearly hugging the touchline while Danny Rose stayed in the middle third. A key thing in Mourinho tactics at Tottenham when the team is out of possession is the high demand for work rate from its attacking players like Ali, Son and Kane, which are required to closing in the opponent's ball carrier and normally put them further to the flanks when passing options are limited. Notice how Olympiacos was often being pressed into awkward shapes. This differs from Jurgen pressing, which often seen in teams under Jurgen Klopp's management, as it's only applied to a specific area of the pitch. Now, the key takeaway for Olympiacos is that after leading 2-0 and even when they were down 1 goal because of the amateur mistake from Miriar, they should strengthen their left, even change the formation back to 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot to aid Tsimikas in defense, as in the second half Tottenham mainly used the right flank to advance. Priority should be given to the compactness of the team. Olympiacos severely lacked its straight play because the attacking 4-3-3 formation, which allowed Tottenham players to find each other between the lines. This is extremely dangerous. Having 3 forwards up front was quite a waste, with the immense pressure from Tottenham. Olympiacos could have secured the left side with more players there, simply to create numerical advantage. In conclusion, Olympiacos had an excellent game in the first half of the match. They gradually lost their ground to Tottenham as Pedro Martins couldn't adapt quickly to the change in tactics from Mourinho. With the tactics prowess from the Portuguese, Tottenham managed to secure the victory.